really bad choices, okay? So I'm gonna show you this little video, which I think really depicts it all. I'm not up here to tell you how to do it. I'm up here to tell you one of the biggest lessons I've learned, and that is about the importance of connection with our babies. Not even our babies, but every baby that is in this room, everybody in our community, because we raise each other's babies, yeah? And when we talk about today about lighting up with your baby and my baby, that's how we're gonna change the world, yeah? So let me show you this idea about how many opinions there can be and what I think about opinions.
Police have arrived.
100% breastfed, straight from the source.
Drug-free pull birth, dolphin-assisted.
Oh. Well, you push. We cuddle.
Yeah, cuddling is bonding.
Helicopter mom, 12 o'clock.
Must be mommy's day off.
Oh, that's sexist. What? You wanna go something? No.
Oh, disposable diaper. Well, apparently we don't care about the environment.
Oh, look, it's Crunchy Granola Mom.
It's getting real.
I wonder what it's like being a part-time mom.
Ooh. Stay-at-home moms.
I wonder what they do all day. Mani-pedis.
Looks like some moms are too lazy to breastfeed.
Someone came with their nipples blazing.
Oh, yeah? Well, I puff during conference calls.
Hello.
Yeah.
It's not all about the breasts.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
No.
It's about the breasts.
It's about
But it's
the
not.
You want a piece of this?
Oh, you want a piece of this? Well, I'll show you some screen-free parenting.
Bring it.
Nibble up, ladies. It's go time, I think. Yeah, go.
Let's go.
I'll be back.
Let's do this! Oh, you guys. Gosh.
What I love about that is here's the deal, right? When we get down to it, here's what we're all here for, is to make sure our babies are gonna be okay, yeah? This is the quote that has guided me through many of these transformations in the way that we're thinking about things. We started off at this, talk and cast 2 years ago, and since that time I've talked to your leaders in this province. I'm gonna keynote a rural ed conference in March, and then we're going to do this on a Canadian basis at the end of March, talking to educators. We were in Halifax in July, talking to superintendents in Canada, saying, we got to change the way we do things, guys. We're in a bit of a state of a mental health crisis. We're not in Uganda, but our kids are not getting better. Our teachers, our EAs, the people who hold our kids are not okay. What do we got to do about that? This quote by Marianne Williamson, she's written Return to Love, one of my favorite books of all time, says this, and it is my guiding force to many of the things that we do when I spend time away from my own babies, because I believe this to be so true. There is no single effort more radical in its potential for saving the world than a transformation of the way in which we raise our babies. That word transformation becomes so pivotal for me in thinking about what the problem is today, because I've heard so many times when parents say to me, can you see my kid? He's a disaster. I think he's going to be a psychopathic serial killer. I really think you need to see him. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, that sounds great, but I need to see you first. Huh? I've assessed and treated over 1,000 kids in this country, and I have never, not one time, met a bad kid. Not one time. The kids are not the problem, see? I can keep your kid in therapy till they're 65, and it doesn't matter. a hill of beans if I send them home to Afghanistan every night. The kids are not the problem. We spend a lot of time, however, trying to figure out why kids these days are so lazy, are so disrespectful. Those Gen Y, X's, elemental P's, little buggers, you know what I mean? I often hear parents say to me, Dad say to me quite often, my father used to look at me. All he would have to do was look at me. And I would know that I need to pull it together. Now I look at my kid, I look at my boy like this. And you know what he says? What? Disrespectful. You know what we need to bring back? Spanking. That's what we need to bring back. That's a problem. Yeah. See, here's the thing. The concern is now screen time, social media, Grand Theft Auto 5. All of those things are the problem. See, none of those things are the problem, in my mind. The biggest difference between what has come before us and where we are at now is one simple word, and it's called disconnect. The only way that you learn that you matter, the most important question you'll ever answer is, am I worth it? The only way you answer that question is in the context of relationship. And we are more disconnected today than we have ever been before. I want you to think about the square footage of the house in which your grandfather raised your father. What is the square footage in the house that you raise your babies? They had no choice, see? But to connect with each other and make things better. If I look at my grandparents, right, they were amazing. Every night, 3 games of crib. Yeah? Regardless of what was happening, 3 games of crib. She'd cuss his all things, and he would, respond with, yes, ma'am, yes, Evelyn, yeah. Every single night, 3 games of crib. Aaron and I are really lucky if I can sell him something on Heyday. Like, that is the biggest conversation we have on this app that we play. Yeah, we farm in the same farming community. It's very lovely. Do you have a bolt for the barn? Yep, sell it to me. Don't you hike that price up. That is the best that we got going on between the two of us, see? What do we have that is so different than before? I mean, where is this all day long? They didn't have iPads or iPods. They didn't have TV. So guess what happened? So much of this happened so much more. And the only way I answer something very important, this question of am I worth it, is in the context of relationship. That is what has changed. It is so much easier to disconnect than it is to connect. It is so much easier when you have a big question about, do I matter? Have I screwed up? Did I make a bad choice? To put it on Facebook to say, I'm feeling really sad today. And 65 people within an hour will send you virtual hugs and likes and things, hearts and stuff, yeah? It is much more time-consuming to get in your car and say, hey, do you have 10 minutes I really want to talk about today? It was really rough, yeah? The risk for rejection is massive, yeah? So we take the easy road and we do what we can to get our needs met. Then what happens is we get our needs met in all other kinds of ways to be able to make sure we fill it, because we're all wired for emotional connection. We're all wired for relationship. So if we can't get it from other people, we get it from other things. Gabor Mate talks about this quite often. The opposite of addiction is not sobriety, it's connection. Because we will fill that hole of disconnect with many other things. If we don't think like we're good enough in relationship, if I don't know how to repair a relationship, I'm going to figure some way to fill it. The opposite of addiction is not sobriety, it's connection. Disconnect becomes the issue because the only way that I answer this question of worthiness is around connection, is around relationship. Yeah? Here's the tricky part. My friend Rita Pearson says this, and I say this oftentimes to your educators. I've said this to all of your teachers and principals in this division. Kids don't learn from people they don't like. And the most important lesson we're going to teach them is something called emotional regulation. Who owns a kid? You didn't come for the free cheese. You all own a baby or you love one, yeah?